Hello everyone, thank you for being here today. I'm Trixie Periam Bonanza and I'm a B.Ed student. I'm here today to talk to you about the types of business letters. First is, what is business letters? Do you have any idea of what is this? Well, a business letters refers to any written communication that begins with the situations and with the signatures and whose contains are professional in nature. A letter from one company to another, or between such organization and their customers, clients, or other external parties. So, in the course of business, disputes and misunderstandings may arise. Business letters plays vital role in solving such misunderstandings, and the basic purpose of this is to convey information regarding to business activities. A business concern not only send messages but also receive information from the outside. So these are the types of business letters: sales letters, order letters, complaint letters, adjustment letters, inquiry letters, follow-up letters, letters of recommendation, acknowledgement letters, cover letters of resignation. So the first is sales letters. Sales letters is it refers to any written communication that begin with a salutation, ends with a signature, and whose contents are professional in nature. So the effective for you to have an effective sales letters, you need to follow these tips. First is be the customer as you write. Right. This is the most important aspect of good sales letters, but is often overlooked. Imagine yourself as the reader of your letter and write what the customer wants to know, not what you want to say. So, next is organize your letter. Sales letters, just like high school term papers, need an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. In the introduction, tell why you're sending the message. The body is your sales pitch, where you explain why your offer is irresistible. The conclusion wraps it up by briefly bringing your points together and asking the customer to take advantage of the offer. Next is make it easy to read. Yes, you need to make it easy to read to your receiver of your letters. So many sales letters are thrown away without being read because simply they appear too complicated. So you need to make it easy. Next is capture your reader's attentions. You can use longer headlines up to the 3 or 4 sentences to present important information. Next is get your readers interested. You should involve the reader in the letter by bringing it to life with a steady flow of interesting information. Write in an active voice, build on your sentences and paragraphs so the reader is encouraged to continue reading. So every sentence needs to be interesting. A reader can be bored quickly. You need to be You need to get your readers interest. Next is ask your readers to take an action. Potential customer won't know what you want unless you tell them what to do next. If you want them to call you, say that into your letter and provide your phone number. If you want them to visit your facility, invite them to stop by and give them clear direction and specific office hours. It is important to urge your readers to take action right away. The longer it takes them to respond, the less likely it is you'll hear from them. So this is the example of sales letter. So sorry kung dili kayo klaro pero by pagsunod ato ng mga guides, you will be write an effective sales letters. So the next types of business letters is the order letters. It is sent by customers or businesses to a manufacturer, retailer, or wholesaler to order goods or services. It contains specific information such as model number and name of the product, the quality desired, and expected price. Payment is sometimes included with the letters. So when you're writing an order letter, you need to follow these tips. Name of the order item, description of item that includes its size, style, quality, material, weight, or any description that will help identify the item. Catalog number if available, quantity of each item and the total price. Method of shipment, address where the order will be delivered. Date of shipment, credit reference if applicable. Last is mode of payment. So when you're writing an effective order letter, you should use simple language that is easy to read and understand. Use professional and formal language. Write the letter in a polite manners. So you need to be polite when you're writing a order letter. So provide details of the order precisely. Be keen on the specifications to ensure that no mistake is made. Keep it brief and simple. Provide contact information. Order letters are important way to demonstrate transaction, such as the letter contains information about the things ordered, the quantity, the specification, and the mode of payment. Information in the order letter helps in avoiding misunderstandings or delivery of the wrong products or services. To demonstrate professionalism, formal content and professional language should be used in order when you're writing an order letters. So this is the sample of order letters. So you need to follow the steps so you can have order letters effectively. So the next types of letters is a complaint letters. So it is a type of letter written to address any type of wrongdoing, offense, grievance, resentment arising out of a product, service, etc. It is used to raise your concern about unfair things and seek a productive outcome. So complaint letters is written by customers who are not satisfied by the levels of customer services provided. If you feel that your supplier is dishonest about the goods they deliver to you, whether in terms of content or pricing, you can write them as a customer complaint letter to express your grievances. So the tips to write an effective complaint is you need to be clear and concise. Describe the item or service you bought and the problem. Include serial or model numbers and the name of the location of the seller. If you're following on a conversation, be sure that to say what you spoke with and confirm the details of your discussion. Second, state exactly what you want done and how long you're willing to wait for a response. Be reasonable. Third is don't write an angry, sarcastic, or threatening letters. The person reading your letter probably isn't responsible for the problem but may be very helpful in resolving it. Next is include your name and contact information. If an account is involved, be sure to include the account number. Include copies of relevant documents like receipt, work orders, and warranties. You also may want to send copies or emails and notes from conversation you had with the seller about the problems. Keep your originalities. You may want to send your letters by certified mail and request a return receipt. That way you have proof that the company got your letters and who signed for it. So this is the sample of complaint letters. So follow na lang tong tips para makahimo ng effective complaint letters. So the next type of business is adjustment letters. An adjustment letter is normally sent in response to claim or complaint. If the adjustment is in the customer favor, begin the letter with the news. If not, keep your tone factual and let the customer know that you understand the complaint. So we all know that all companies are not perfect. There was damaged products, incorrect bills, delayed delivery, overdue payment. All of these are not uncommon. The aim of the adjustment letter is to restore the credibility and reputation of the company. The adjustment letter can show the client that his or her claim was heard and will be resolved. Adjustment letter should reiterate the relevant facts of a claim, accept responsibility for an error or defect, offer an apology. It should provide the reader with an exact description, including dates, time, places that corrective action will take place. So, tips for an effective adjustment letters. Don't forget to fill in the subject field if you are sending an email. Write the adjustment letter in the shortest time possible. The company improved its own reputation by responding quickly to all complaints. Focus more on the solution rather than on the details of the problem. Always write in a positive tone. You need to calm down the customer and cheer them up. Don't try to make excuses. Provide only factual information in the explanation. So if the client experiences a great inconvenience, be generous. For example, you can provide a discount for the next order or a gift if appropriate. And lastly, remember the classical rule. The customer is always right. Even if the customer is wrong, make sure that customer is satisfied with your response. Sometimes, complete letters may seem like a catastrophe for you, but don't fall into despair. Take a deep breath in and then out. Keep a positive and tactful tone. So this is the sample of adjustment letters. So follow my tips so that you can have an effective adjustment letters. So the next types of business letters is inquiry letters. It is written for the purpose of asking for something from the recipient. Inquiries can be sent as a formal business letters outside of your company or as an email. The importance of writing an effective inquiry letters falls into two things: the structure and inquiry letter format. It is important as to know how to write an inquiry letter perfectly, not only depending on the type of letter or the purpose, but actually giving the perfect format, structure, and style. This is done in order to avoid being rejected. So tips on how to write the perfect inquiry letters. Inquiry letter should contain in the first paragraph may start with the most important question or a summarizing statement. Second, the second paragraphs may contain an explanation and or list of questions. The last paragraph may tell the reader what you want to be done and when. So the tips on how to write the perfect inquiry letters. First is a letter of inquiry should always be brief, informative, and specific in its purpose. The first part of the inquiry should be totally concise, direct, and clear for the recipient. A because this is the main part and most important things on a query letter. It should both capture the attention of the reader and inspire the recipient to keep reading and feel compelled by information independently on the purpose and type of inquiry letter it is. Next is have clear objectives and never hesitate in making them be heard. Next, summarize the goal of the project and state a final conclusion or inquiry in the letter, reminding the recipient of the object of the inquiry letter. In the end, remember to keep into account writing guidelines and make a perfect proofread in order to avoid feeling incredibility and lack of detail due to grammar or spelling mistakes. So this is the sample of inquiry letters. So just follow those tips of how to have an effective inquiry letters. So this will be my last assigned of report. The next is Miss Sila, who is responsible to continue the types of business letters.
So I'm Marosila. I'm the one who continued the types of business letter. So follow-up letters. Follow-up letters are usually sent after some types of initial communication. This could be a sales department thanking a customer for an order, a businessman reviewing the outcome of a meeting, or a job seeker inquiring about the status of his application. In many cases, these letters are a combination thank you notes and sales letter. A follow-up letters may put you ahead of your competition by allowing you another chance to summarize what took place in initial meeting. If you are writing this letter to a future employer, it will show him your application for his time interviewing you. It can also serve as a thank you letter, giving your client more information about your product or services and showing that you still have an interest in better serving them. For example, pag mag-apply ka ng trabaho, dapat naa kay ihatag na mga letter application or resume or i-send nimo sa isa ka business, di ba mabasahan man jud na nila imo letter nga gihimo kung mas worth it ba ka sa ila business or company nga gi-applyan. So diha na dayon ka tawagan ka na nila or like for phone interview. This is a example of follow-up letters. So amo na ni idyo na dayon ni ko anon.
This is how follow-up letters look like.
So next is letter of recommendation. This type of letter is usually from previous employer or professor, and it describes that center relationship with an opinion of the job seeker. A letter of recommendation is a document you may be asked to prepare for someone who is applying for a job, internship, or college application, lettership, position, or volunteer opportunity. The purpose of a recommendation letter is to validate what the employer has learned about the applicant and provide additional positive details about their performance of habit. Recommendation letter format: introduction and statement of recommendation, list of specific reasons you are recommending them to the position, personal story with evidence of their qualities, soft and hard skills, closing statement with contact information. So Writing a recommendation letter, state that you are offering your recommendation. State what you're recommending the person for. State the nature of your relationship, supervisor, teacher, etc. State that length of time you have known this person. List a description of the trait that make the persons recommendable. So here's the sample of letter recommendation. You should follow this letter recommendation to have
an effective letters of recommendation.
So next is acknowledgement letter. It is used by businesses to formally acknowledge the receipt of something, for example, an invoice that can be used as a courtesy of record keeping or to raise an issue with. Acknowledgement letter is a letter of receipt which confirm the reception of certain documents. For example, if an employee sent a resume or CV to apply for a job to an employer, then the employer has acknowledged the employee by sending a letter. This letter could be sent via mail or by post or by post. It is a necessary documents which has to keep saved for future purpose. So here's the example of acknowledge letter. So muna ni. Next is application letter. It is a document sent with your resume to provide additional information on your skills and experience. A letter of application typically provides detailed information on why you are qualified the job you are applying for. It is a document attached to your job application that show why you're the best candidate. It introduces you in a more personal way for a compliment that into on your resume or curriculum vitae, expanding on the skills and achievement and highlighting or selection of your greatest career success. For example, ang cover letter is a document attached to your application. Pag maghimo ka ng mga application letter, dapat imo gajud ibutang didto na kung unsa ka na pagkatawo or naaba kay mga experience, dapat ipanghambog jud nimo imo self or ibaligya nimo imo self. Dapat ipakita nimo sa ila na karapat dapat ka ana nga job, dapat naa kay mga experience, ipakita nimo sa ila na kung ikaw kung asa ka ni graduate ka sa na eskwelahan, daghan kay award, dapat ipanghambog jud nimo para ma-shock sila na ing ana badya ka na dapat i-hard. Tapos dapat ilaong sab nimo dito na ikaw masaligan, himuon nimo tanan imo best para sa sa edu company or business. So mo to ang career letter, isulti nimo tanan kung unsa ka nga candidate or the best ba ka ana nakuan kana nga position charot. Application letter. The first paragraph should continue the reason why you are applying for the job. You may mention where you heard the hiring. B. The second paragraph should explain why you are qualified the position you are applying for without being boastful. The last paragraph should continue your application even you are not yet sure that you will be hired. So here's the example of application letter. So diri na nimo makuan, ibutang na nimo tanan kung ano imo experience or skills ing ana kung ano imo mga kuan. So the last types of business letter is letter of resignation. It is a document that notifies your employer that you are leaving your job. It is usually sent to his immediate manager, giving him notice and letting him know when the last day of employment will be. In a cases of employee also details his reason of leaving. Letter of resignation kibali diyon mag resign ka or mo leave na ka sa trabaho, then dapat naa kay ihatag ng mga letters, so imo or ipas nimo sa imo boss or para mahibaw-an nila ngano ni leave ka or unsa ba. Tas kasagaran maghatag ng resignation letter kay kanang mga tiguyang gali, so mao to. Resignation letter should include a statement that clearly say you're going to resign the date of your last day of work. Based on the notice you're giving, a short explanation of why you are leaving, a short polite thank you at the end of the letter. So here's the example of resignation letter. So naari na diri makita na nimo na.
So that's the last part of types of business letters. So now that you know what business letters are and what each of them means, you have a good understanding when to write with. Use this knowledge in the future and combine it with your writing talent to get the most out of your business. So we hope that you have learned from us. Thank you for listening.